Good evening, Brian. It's Wednesday. First off, I'd like to say that I hope you're feeling better. You sounded kind of rough in yesterday's vlog, and I'm sure it's no fun to feel that lousy. So hopefully by now that it's Wednesday evening, you were feeling a little bit better or a lot better and are less miserable. So I hope so. So tonight I'm going to talk sort of about the idea of how little things that seem like they might not be very consequential can end up really having a big impact on your life. And one of the stories I'm going to use to talk about that is the story of how I got into paper and pens and fountain pens and inks and all of that. So I started my job at CSEHH about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now. And pretty early on I realized that, well, given that I had my own office and there were things to do in an office at work like paperwork and I had to write things down and fill things out and take notes, and I needed to have some office supplies. So one weekend I decided to go to Office Depot and pick up some stuff that I needed. I had a variety of things that I needed to get. And I don't know if you know this about me, Brian, but I've always been very particular about specifically pens, but in general the office or school supplies that I've used. Whenever I was a kid in school, I always had very strong preferences about this kind of binder versus that kind of binder, this notebook better than that notebook, these pens, these pencils, etc. Because I've always felt that, if you're going to use a tool every day or just about every day, it's really important that you get one that you enjoy using and that is a quality product instead of using one that's crappy, because then you're going to have a poor experience all the time. And I just feel like, you owe it to yourself to buy something that is high quality and does the job in the most effective way possible. So I've always really liked specific pens. So I was going to Office Depot specifically looking for these pens, but while I was there, I stumbled upon the Office Depot brand of luxury higher end pens. I think they're called Tool, T-U-L, whatever. And I'd never seen them before, and I've always liked rollerball pens, and they had a rollerball, and so I was like, I wonder if this is good. It seems a little more expensive than what I'm used to, though. So while I was there in the store, I did a quick Google search and was like, I just need to find some reviews on this pen to see if it's worth it. And I found a blog called The Pen Addict. And I found a review, and it ended up being that the pen was good, but kind of overpriced or whatever. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I ended up not buying that pen, I don't think. But I realized that there were other people like me. There were other people that had very particular feelings about the stationery and office supplies they used, people who appreciated the high quality and the tools they used. And that led me down the rabbit hole of now, 2 years later, I've listened to all 250 something episodes of the hour-long Pen Addict podcast. I've read most of the things on the blog. I have, I think, 11 fountain pens and various inks and notebooks, and I just really get a lot of enjoyment out of whenever I have to write something down or take notes at work, because I have good quality things that I do with them. And it's just become, one of my biggest hobbies. And all of that stemmed from deciding to Google a review for a pen that I saw in Office Depot. If I hadn't seen that end cap, if I had just bought my usual Uniball Vision Elite pens, I might never have picked up a fountain pen. I might never have found the community of other people who are like myself. And it's really neat to think about how those small little things that sometimes you don't really put much stock into can really make a big difference and introduce you to something that becomes very important to you later on. So do you have anything like this, Brian? Do you have any things where you've sort of stumbled upon something sort of by happenstance and then later it's become a really important part of your life or a big important thing for you? I know tomorrow's a Thursday Top 5, so you probably won't have time to talk about it then, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in a later video. Again, I hope you're feeling better, and I hope you have a good night.